Welcome to another episode of Theater Corner. I'm your host, Michael Taylor. Today we're broadcasting from the famous Kirk Douglas Theatre in Culver City, California. Theater Corner is an interview series created as an ongoing effort to promote more diverse interests and involvement in the theater scene. So silence your cell phones, folks. You're about to enter Theater Corner. You may recognize Marcus Henderson from his unforgettable performance as Walter, the groundskeeper in Get Out, the satirical horror film that crushed box office records and sparked a national conversation on race relations in the United States. Prior to landing the standout role in one of the most talked about films in recent memory, Henderson built a solid acting resume spanning theater, television, and other critically acclaimed films such as Django Unchained and Whiplash. Originally from Jennings, Missouri, Henderson became involved in the theater scene at Alabama State University and went on to earn an MFA in acting from Yale School of Drama. He's now based in Los Angeles, where he recently performed in the world premiere of Good Grief at the Kirk Douglas Theatre. On today's episode of Theater Corner, we're thrilled to meet up with Marcus Henderson here in LA to talk about his unstoppable career and the hard work and passion that made it all possible. Marcus Henderson.
Hey.
Man, this is a wonderful time here in Theater Corner. We're so happy that you're here.
I'm happy you all have me.
You're very welcome to be here to grace the seats here at Theater Corner. And I know you're super busy, and so for you to take out time to come see your brother, this is a big deal. Besides, you're a huge star too. You're
star. What is that? I don't emit my own gamma rays.
Oh, okay. See, but that's where you're wrong, You are. Maybe you are.
maybe I do.
That's what attracting the whole Hollywood to you, because those gamma rays you're putting out, brother.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
No, and it's cool to have a fellow member of the Ancient Eight. I understand. We're gonna talk about Get Out, which is what you're known for now, but I'd prefer to talk about the theater side of you first, so people can know that you're a trained
That's my first love, actually.
There we go.
See what I'm saying? I'm kind of like cheating on her with Hollywood. And it's a little problem right now, but we good. We good though. We good.
All right.
She understands.
She's gonna have to.
Yeah.
So we're here at the beautiful Kirk Douglas Theatre. We're sitting in front of the stage where you performed in Good Grief.
Yeah, it's bringing back so many memories right now too, man. Just whole unicorn situation. Our friend Patricia McGregor directed it.
Which you studied at
Yale
School of Drama.
Yep.
Okay,
Yale
so it's
School
not
of
just
Drama.
about the Gardner of Get Out. It's
a whole history behind that.
This is a real deal Yale School of Drama graduate, Marcus Henderson.
Man.
So you were here for Good Grief, and could you tell us a little bit about that play?
It was written by a good friend of mine, Ngozi Anyanwu. She wrote this play as a poem at first for her friend's 10-year death anniversary. And it kind of turned into more and more pages as she was in grad school. And it's pretty much about the story about where she loses her best friend while she's on sabbatical from med school. And she's trying to figure out and process life now that all of these childhood memories are buried with her friend. And she goes to her mom and dad, her brother, who I played, and also a couple other people, and she keeps seeing the best friend in her memories. So, and she plays with Greek mythology in terms of Artemis and Orion. It was such a great experience, man. It's such a smart, funny, unapologetically heartbreaking play, you know,
Yeah,
and it's something that I've not been a part of before, and I really, 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 really wish to be a part of again really soon. So yeah.
Well, I was here on opening night, and I had a chance to enjoy the play.
Word.
And your role as a brother,
Yeah.
that was a stretch for you to
I
go.
felt like he was. I focused more so on this. Like they described him as a ghetto philosopher.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And so I kind of like played on those words more so than like the idea. I think what was interesting too is that the play on what he chose to wear. His baggy pants,
Right,
big
right.
baggy shirt with Pac and Biggie on the front,
Right.
a crown, and you know, and then he has the backwards hat. So like there's this image that it plays with you because some of the things that he says are so poignant and you know,
Very true. Very true.
and really are the things that we deal with in grief. But the idea that as humans, in my opinion, we are visual creatures. So therefore, what we
Right.
see is what we kind of take in.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think that aspect of the costumes were interesting.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
true to life. That's
Yeah.
where stereotypes are.
Exactly,
come
exactly.
from.
So that's what I really appreciated about him.
All right. You were studying at Alabama State University,
Montgomery, Alabama.
where I'm from.
That's right.
Montgomery. And when you started, as far as theater is concerned, you started as a stagehand laborer.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I was hanging out with a friend one night. It was my freshman year, and I was on the football team. So like I always had like practice and things like that I had to be at. But this particular night, we didn't have anything. I was open, and I didn't really do a lot outside of football at the time. So we saw this sign that said Dramatic Guild auditions, and we were like, oh man, there might be some girls over there. Like,
So it's a good motivator.
you know, yeah, why not? Let's go over there. So we went, and you know, we get there, and it's just like crazy. It's like all these like dancers and singers and these actors practicing monologues, and then there was this guy named Johan Smiles who was helping me with the monologue section, and I didn't know what a monologue was. I was just kind of like, he's like, it's like telling the story. You know, you telling the story to the audience. I say, oh, okay, yeah, I could do that. And so I told the story about how I got into it with an omega. In the Greek world is an omega,
Yeah.
and they got this thing about walking on the grass. You know, you can't walk on the grass where the stone is because, you know, that's trouble. You know, and so, you know, I'm like, I don't give a damn whose stone this is. You know, I was a hothead back then. So like I told the story, and everybody just started laughing, and I at the time it was a fresh story for me, so I couldn't understand why they were laughing. And, you know, and then he was like, I want you to tell the story just like that when you get in there with the professors. So I go in and I sing my song and I do the little group dance that they taught us. And then I do this monologue. And again, everyone's dying laughing in the theater. And I'm still confused because I'm like, hey, this just happened like yesterday. Right. I'm still mad. I might go kick his ass right now.
Right.
But you know, it ended up being a really cool situation because after you finish and everything, the next day they put up a list and they say, hey, you made the guild. Surprise, surprise, everybody makes it. And throughout the year, you kind of weed yourself out if it's not your thing. But they had a lock-in that Friday that was like, hey, you know, come help clean up the theater. We'll stay from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., clean up the theater. We'll do all of this stuff and allow people to get familiar with it. We'll pull costumes, props, set stuff for the upcoming season, and you know. And so I did a lot of that. I did a lot of help with that. But then a guy named Mike Mobley came up and said, hey, you guys, I've started a security team out here because there are a lot of break-ins in terms of like when shows are going on and people drive their cars onto the lot,
Right.
like there were break-ins and people being harassed or maybe robbed or whatever. And so, you know, he started this security team to help out with that around the theater. I joined because I felt like that was the most natural thing I could do at the time. Like I wanted to be around that area, but I didn't want to be on stage because I didn't get it, you know, like I didn't know the rules yet. But being there and looking at the process of things from up here, right? Like when you're at the top of the theater and you kind of just looking down at stage, like, oh, I wonder what. Huh. And then the director would be giving like simple notes, like, all right, just move stage left and say your note, say your line. And then, you know, people had the hardest time doing that. And I'm up there like, just do what they say, please. Can you just do that?
Right.
And it just used to irk the hell out of me. And it ended up, you know, being like a really cool thing where I got to watch and learn before I did anything. But I also got to do a lot of backstage stuff like, hey, you know, we're in this together. So what do you need? What do you need help with? Lights? Okay. And so I help set up lights. I help design lights. I help, you know, set up sound or paint this stage. You know, I was just engulfed in being there. Like that was all I needed, was just to be there.
Man.
And eventually, you know, 2 years later, from doing that, I got pretty involved. And one day a director came up to me and was like, you look like a manly man and we need manly men. Would you like to be in West Side Story? And I was like, sure. Yeah, why not? Yeah, you know, I know that. I know a couple songs from that. Why not? And that spring, my football coach called me into the office and I missed a couple practices because I was tired. And just like kind of over football at that point. And he's like, it's my understanding that you're playing dress up with the Ferry Boys across the street.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I was like, he really just, okay. Yeah, so you got to make a decision. Either going to be a member of this team, son, or you going to play dress up with the Ferry Boys. I was like, well, you know, I guess I'll go play dress up with the Ferry Boys, man, because this is giving me nothing right now. Like, I see no future in this, you know. But I really didn't see a future in theater, but I just knew I liked what I was doing at the time, and it was really good. But you know, all of this stuff, I lost my scholarship and everything. And ended up getting a scholarship for theater, and that's kind of what took me from there, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's how backstage kind of helped you with your acting.
Exactly.
Do you think there was something with football that helped you at all as well?
Discipline.
Okay.
Discipline for sure. I think football, that attention to detail that you need to be an athlete, I think, and that focus that you need, I think really helps with the stage. You know, it's nothing I don't think I can do that I can't work at. And I know that because of football. I know that hard work can get you anything. So therefore, I know that hard work can get you anything. Lessons.
There's life lessons.
But yeah, I think football definitely, I can attribute football to those things.
So what was this experience like? Yale School of Drama.
Woof, man.
It's a real deal right there.
So right before I auditioned for Yale, I had to apply, and I did a movie because our director of the theater, she's a prominent film actress, I feel like, and she did a movie with Charles Dutton called The Time to Kill.
Right.
And the students had just recently done a movie called Honey Dripper that he was in. And I got close with him, and you know, he gave me a lot of advice. And one day I called him, or we called him together, and me and Dr. Stewart, and said, hey, you know, I'm thinking about going to Yale. You know, is there any advice you have? Right. And he was just like, not really. I mean, you know, think about NYU and Juilliard too and all this. And I said, okay. And I found out Juilliard was 4 years. I said, hell no. Like, I want to be done with school.
Right.
But I was like, no, I want to try Yale, because I feel like our undergrad is pretty like popular when it comes to going to grad schools, or when they want to pick like black students to go to their schools. Like, they know that they're getting some solid students coming out of my undergrad program. So they come and kind of just like get us with a net and swoop us up. So I got accepted into Brown, Brandeis, Louisville, like these schools that we already have these standing relationships with. But I wanted my own like path, you know, like it's cool, and I'm glad that there are shoulders that we can stand on and people that we can come behind, but I wanted to be one of those trailblazers. I knew, so I was like, I have to go to Yale. You know, it just so happened I applied, went to Chicago, auditioned. Ron Van Loo asked me for like, you know, 6 monologues. Like, it was crazy.
Wow.
You know, I thought we was just supposed to have 2 classical, 1 contemporary, but like he was just like, any more? Anything else? He just kept asking, and I think he was doing it to mess with me, but I was just like, sure, because that's just what we did in our undergrad. Is like we grinded on these, like, we gotta get monologues, we gotta get this. But he was someone who, or that undergrad is what really prepared me for a monster like Yale. Yale, I didn't even know what state it was in. I look all this stuff up and I'm thinking, Yale, what is it like? Castles, drawbridges, horses and carriages, knights, you know. I got there after a weekend being at Brown. I went to Yale for my final callback weekend. We got on the cab from the train station. They dropped us off at the Yale Cabaret. Now, the Yale Cabaret is right across the street from the AFAM house, the African American house, right?
Okay.
They were having some kind of party that night. And I get out of the cab and I was like, where all these black people come from? What is this? Like, could not believe it. It was amazing. It was so, it was rich. It's
Right.
exactly what I needed to have the confidence, I feel like, to be there, to feel like I belong there, you know? Because if that didn't happen, then I would have felt inferior in a sense.
Okay.
What ended up happening was I went into the cabaret, and down the steps were a long line of like black actors or actors of color that went to the Yale School of Drama. So you had Angela Bassett, Courtney Vance, John Turturro, Rock, Ernie Hudson, you know, all these faces that just, oh my God, this is iconic. You know, I had no idea the reputation of this place. You know, I was very ignorant to that. So when I saw that, I was like, man, I gotta be here. I have to be here. And, you know, the weekend happened, and then that was a wrap. You know, I was there. And then 3 years of
3 years of grinding.
yeah, that.
Wow. And so now that we know Marcus, the highly skilled, trained actor, now we could talk about Marcus from Get Out.
Yeah.
And of course, you almost didn't get that role because they were looking at me for that role.
Oh, were they?
Because we did a Get Out challenge, theater corner Get Out challenge.
Okay.
And we could take a look at it right now.
All right, let's look at it.
We hired Georgina and Walter to care for my parents.
So now you see how I almost got your role.
I am thanking my stars at this very moment that Jordan didn't see that. I would have had nothing.
Okay, so hopefully Jordan Peele, if he have a sequel, maybe I'll be in the running. But
There it is. There it is.
I think your role is safe.
Oh man, that's hilarious, dude. That's funny.
So you did play Walter, the groundskeeper.
Yes.
Jordan Peele's blockbuster debut.
Man.
And that's tremendous.
Why even try after that? Like, why even try after that? Just go like, I did it, and then go be an accountant or something. Like, go try to take over another field. Like, you don't need to. You come out with something else and it ain't as good, man. People gonna be talking, but
that's the end. I mean, we learned all this now. This blockbuster,
right?
But what was going through your mind when you first read the script?
When I first read the script, I said, "They're really making this? This is for real?" I felt like I was being punked. Like my agents were sending me a script so I could be punked, and I was like, "The dude from Key and Peele."
The dude from Key and Peele.
You know. The dude from Mad TV,
right.
You know, like it was that kind of thing. Of like, he wrote this, and I remember reading it and thinking like, wow, man, I really like, this is different. This is something I would love to, you know, because I ate a little I ate a little bit of feedback when it came to playing a slave in Django, right? People were, I had conversations, you know. Then I got to play this bass player in Whiplash, right? And it was completely different contrast. And then I got to be a woodcutter in Pete's Dragon. Like, you know, it was like all these diverse roles that I feel like I've been able to play. But this, I'm a black man playing a white man,
right,
that's in a black man's body.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just, come on. Come on. And it is like serious, like y'all are making this.
Absolutely.
And you know, spoiler alert, there was a different ending. There was an alternate ending before the one that we all have seen. And for me, that was that's what gripped me for the script. You all will see it on digital release May 9th, DVD release May like 21st or something like that. But it shook me to my core. And I was just like, I gotta be a part of this. Like, you know what I mean? Like I look at my life and I don't think that I've ever allowed myself to be a part of anything that didn't live up to the standard of what I felt my life was, you know what I mean? Which is just like, it's not ordinary, you know? Like I look for these great things in the projects that I work on. And from the minute I read that script, I knew it. And sometimes we go with like, hey, what's for you is for you. But in that moment, I was like, to hell with that. I need this. This is what I need. So when you have that kind of mentality behind you, I think that's what really allowed me to jump in with no remorse, no regard, just jump and do it, you know.
That's phenomenal. And so as a result of your role, now there's what's called a Get Out challenge, and you're at the center of this Get Out challenge.
Yeah.
The part of the movie, it's in the trailer, and you're hauling ass straight for the camera.
Yeah.
And you go off. This is the Get Out challenge.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? What is it like to be right in the middle of such a huge internet craze?
It's surreal. It's surreal. It's something that, I'm watching all these like challenges and memes, from
all over the world.
From all over the world, but not, before Get Out challenge even existed, before Get Out even existed, I'm watching, the ice bucket challenge, right? You look at something like that and you go, wow, man, like a lot of people are into this.
Right.
Like that's crazy how many people are like doing these ice bucket challenges and stuff, right? And then you go, oh, well, that's insane, and then you see people go viral, right? And I think that's insane. Like you get internet famous, that's weird. But for it to be me, I don't know. I'm somebody who, if you start giving me compliments or something, I get very like reserved, and I don't know how to. I could just be like, thank you, but really taking it in, man, I get overwhelmed. And I'm like, oh. So just to see like the people who are, the sincerest form of flattery is imitation, right?
Yeah, there you go.
It's so flattering, but also to keep myself on the level head, I know that it's the character that they are imitating in what Jordan created, and I just so happen to be the first person to be able to do it, and I was distracted by the play, doing the play that allowed me to not have to think about it too much. Right. So it's all actually still just processing and things like that, but I saw like Steph Curry did it, and that's when that's when I was like, wait a second, hold on.
This is getting out of hand.
The Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. How is this possible? Why is he doing it?
Oh man. So, but it's gonna do what it's gonna do. You
can't
stop it now.
You can't stop it. And it was all these memes, and if I was like one of those sensitive people who like stayed on the internet looking at myself, like I can imagine somebody like that would be like, it would hurt their feelings or something. But
some are fun.
Some are fun. Some
There's
are
the meme
hilarious.
where they place you in the middle
In the middle of Usain Bolt.
next to the Olympian runner. Yeah, you know,
that's
a good
hilarious.
taste.
That's
yeah.
hilarious. You know, but yeah, like I said, you know, I can appreciate the memes and things like that. You know, it just means, like I said, it's flattering. You know, and I'm really thankful to be in that position. You know, like.
Wow. So you are where you are now. Is there a particular mentor that perhaps influenced you a bit more than along your way?
Man, it's so many, you know, because I seek mentors. I always believe that this world, like, you can't really do it alone. You always need somebody to guide you. Some people use their faith, you know. I have a strong faith myself, but like I believe in learning from others. So if you've been down a path that I'm walking down already, I believe you should be able to tell me better than I could learn just, you know, trying to touch the stove. You can tell me not to touch it because you already did and it hurt like hell.
Right.
You could also tell me that there's an off switch and I could turn it off and then touch it, you know?
Yeah.
And it might work out better for me. But if I'm so in love with the idea that I need the sensation to feel the heat, then I will do it myself. But if I go, no, I don't need to do that, I can learn from this person. Then cool. So it's, you know, one of my main, Dr. Stewart's husband, we call him Dr. A so we don't confuse when we say Dr. Stewart. But Dr. Alan Stewart, he's a huge mentor for me. He's the one who brought me into my frat. He time and time again gives me advice about life, being a man, a father, a husband, and all this kind of stuff where, you know, I look to him. My dad, he continually, like, is the man that I'm becoming that man every day, you know, and so he's first. Dr. Stewart, Coach Scott in undergrad really gave me a lot to go off of in terms of those things, you know. So I you know, it's just like, man, it's so many. Like, I feel bad even just trying to name a few, because then it's like, oh man, I helped you out back then.
Right.
But I'll tell you this though, you do something and you get a little recognition for yourself. A lot of people jump out the woodworks and try to take credit for some stuff, and you be like,
I hear you.
Okay. Whatever makes you feel better, you know. Like, you know, sometimes I feel like my success is not necessarily for my own enjoyment, but for other people's validation to what it is that they do in the world, you know. Because I'm successful whether or not I'm in a movie or not. I'm successful just to breathe and be happy, because some people can't even do that.
That's true.
You know, so I feel like that's something that helps me a lot, you know. So yeah, I look at it like, yeah, man, this is great, right? This is great. You feel good? I feel good. All right.
All right. So you have some very strong mentors, but what advice would you give to a young actor that's thinking about getting into the game?
Young actors. First thing that comes to mind, and this is no particular order, but the first thing that comes to mind is be comfortable with you, who you are, what you have to offer. Be realistic about that. And know that acting is just like a percentage of what this is all about. The acting is just a percentage. It's not all about the acting. You know what I mean? I attribute some of the commercial success that I would say is, you know, the success that we look at, I would attribute it to being a good person. Like, I actively try to be a good person. Like, I mean, I know I'm a good person, but like, I really get up in the morning and go, what can I do to, like, really, you know, feel like I'm a good person today? Like, I think that's something that some people don't think about, maybe, or maybe they do and they just aren't able to pull it off. But, you know, trust in yourself. Be who you are. You know, somebody sees value in that, even if you don't. Somebody does, and once they do, listen to them. You know.
All right. We're super excited to see you in your next feature on stage or television or film. What can the viewers out there look to see you in there?
Right now, you can catch me in June. FX's new show, Snowfall, created by John Singleton. It's pretty much like a story of the cocaine scene in the 80s in LA. I play the neighbor and the father to the love interest of the lead in this. And I think it's, on IMDb, they got me as Andrew Wright, but it's really Andre Wright. Like, you know, I don't know why they did that to me, but that. And then I have another Blumhouse film, Insidious 4, coming out in August, I believe. And I'm working right now on a Netflix film called Juanita, starring Alfre Woodard. Should be hitting the scene sometime this year.
Any stage this year?
If you miss me in Good Grief, hopefully you'll see me again in New York sometime in the near future.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So thank you very much.
Man, Michael, thank you so much for having me.
You're an awesome person. You're a big star. You're a gifted actor. And we appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
We really do.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming by Theater Corner. And thank you, viewers, for stopping in the Theater Corner. And we'll see you on the next episode.